And we are back.
We are back, bumble bitches.
We're going to do another discussion. I think this is kind of like an ongoing series that started with I versus you, went into flooding, went into repair, went into a whole other conversation about manipulation, judgment, and porn addiction.
Yeah.
And I really wish we would have done these in order, because now I have to go back and like place them in order on a playlist on YouTube, which is just more work for me. It's not really that much work, but
Do they really have to be in order? Do you think it's a chronological thing?
I think that it would be beneficial if it was,
Okay.
because this conversation is going to lead into a whole lot of other conversations in the future. So today we are going to, okay, let me backpedal just a little bit, guys. Welcome to the podcast. For those of you who are new here, my name is Chris,
I am Peach.
and we are two people on the internet who give unbiased opinions on your life situations. Viewers or listeners, because this is technically a show, write in, give their rundown of things. We problem solve, help with communications, and then we also do episodes like we're doing today that is just discussion based, where we're going to sit down and have a conversation, record it, stick it on the internet. Hopefully it does well. We have not gotten any feedback on this yet because we've only had one of the episodes go live. But everything that we've posted to Patreon has done really well. The people really are vibing with what we're doing. So we are going to try to continue this until we get enough feedback where people are like, all right, this sucks. Don't do this.
Right.
Which is kind of what happened with the interviews, which is why we stopped doing interviews.
Yeah.
Before we get into what we're doing, because today we're going to be talking about relationships and foundations, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping and let you guys know that I am working on, I don't even know how I want to word this. I am working on something new that I want to be geared specifically towards men, but not exclusive to men. So if this relates to you and you're a woman, you can write in, but I am looking more from a guy's perspective. I am looking for men who have been at the lowest of lows, contemplated control, alt, delete themselves, not just thinking about it, but like sitting there with a bottle of pills in your hands or with a firearm on your lap, like really at that moment in your life where you wanted to go and you are still here and you are thriving. I want your story. I want you to send in an email that is very detailed about what you were going through that got you to that point. What was the catalyst that kept you here and what has made you improve your life? And it needs to be very fucking detailed.
Not trauma dumped. Not I was essayed as a child and this is everything that happened to me.
Right.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. I want to, so the trauma dumping thing, just to verify, we have people who will write in, clarify.
To clarify.
Yeah. We have people who will write in that will say things like at 3 years old and will tell us their entire life story and then try to tell us about what's going on in the relationship as if their entire life story matters as to what's happening in the relationship.
Right.
In this situation, I do need some of those details, but it needs to not be a trauma dump. If you were SA'd at 16 years old by your brother or whatever, I need to know that, but I don't need the details of it.
Right.
So we don't need those kind of details, but I do want to know what's going on in your life. I'm going to give an example. We have somebody that's a part of our men's group in Discord who's very successful in life now over the last year. And his initial email to us was the story of his ex-wife trying to kill him by slitting his throat. Luckily, she was short and missed.
That was the only thing that saved his life was the height difference.
Right. But he was a domestic violence survivor. And because of the extremes of that, we needed those details to be able to work with him on a one-on-one basis to help him get to where he is. So I want that. If you are willing to do a Zoom call, also put that in your email, because some of the content that we have put out that has done the best for men are episodes where I am talking about borderline or my wanting to unalive and crying and all of that shit, because there are men out there who don't have fucking community and doesn't have resources, and those episodes have helped people. We've heard it. I don't know what I'm doing with this. Nothing may ever come of it, but I have a feeling that I'm supposed to be doing something more directly related with men, and the men's group, though, is very good. I feel like I should be doing more, and it needs to be something that I can just give you guys instead of charging you for it.
Right.
So, if you can, please do that. If it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. If it doesn't, at least you'll get it out.
Which can help.
It can. It can.
Before you continue on, ladies, I do have a garden segment. So if you would like to email in, I'm moving more towards kind of like a Betty Crocker-esque radio show. You write in, I can answer questions. I, too, am also looking for success stories. So for the feminine woman version of that, you can email peaches@tobebetter.com.
I would have them send it to the To Be Better Co.
Why?
so that Jenny can continue screening.
She has access to that, though.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see what you do with this.
I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet.
Right, but I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. There's a nervous energy to me about this because it's hard to relive that moment. It's one thing to like just in passing think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's another to go through that entire process and relive it. It's no different than going to therapy. It's fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
And typing it out and hearing somebody else read your story. You know what I mean? Like
It brings it to life.
right. And then in the event that I actually get these guys on a live call, how dark is that going to get? You know what I mean? Like it's a concern.
Yeah.
So, have you tried the OG Luck?
I have not.
Would you like to try the OG Luck?
I would love to try the OG Luck of Lucky Fuck.
So we reached out to a company called Lucky Fuck Energy because we've been trying to get an energy drink sponsorship for a year now because I drink a lot of energy drinks. That's my favorite one.
I really like this.
Yep.
I don't know. It's kind of like marshmallow.
You got marshmallow from that?
Tulip field. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. This is good. I might not give this back to you.
I have another one in there, I think. I out of all the ones that we've like tried so far, the only one I don't like is the one that's got cherry in it because I don't like cherry when it's mixed with other flavors. Anyways.
I hate it when they do shit like that.
Yeah.
OG Luck, there's no description of the flavor. I can't pinpoint what the flavor is, so it's just some mystery, and now I'm saying it's marshmallow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a cat on it, so maybe the cat's name is Marshmallow.
Maybe.
Yeah. It doesn't tell you the individual flavors.
Of course it doesn't. It's smart. Well, it says it only has it's 5 super ingredients that are on it.
Yeah, the super ingredients are maca, ginseng, taurine, beta-alanine, and caffeine. This thing says, this is your one life. You're lucky as fuck to have another day. Time to live it. Let's fucking go. Energy turns you on and inspires you to keep going. LFG. Let's fucking go. That's what that means, right?
Okay. I mean, I would assume so.
Okay. Well, it says LFG. I don't see that anywhere else on the can. So I'm going to just go with let's fucking go. Whether you're dealing with your pain in the ass boss, dropping into a wave, or cutting your lawn, be grateful for another moment of kick-ass in the game of life. What we crafted our products with beta-alanine, maca, and for sustained physical and mental endurance. Life is complicated. Our energy drink isn't. 5 super ingredients, 0 sugar, 0 aftertaste. Make today the best day of your life, then do it all over again tomorrow. I don't agree with the no aftertaste.
I was about to say, I'm tasting aftertaste.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not chemical aftertaste.
It's flavor.
But that one that's got cherry in it almost tastes like beer to me after I drink it. And I think that maybe it's why I don't like it. I don't know. I don't like that one.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not sponsored by them, but we would like to be. So if you guys are Lucky Fuck Energy are listening,
hey,
let's fucking go. All right. So I'm going to pull my phone out because I've been taking a lot of notes.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know, I am now becoming mildly obsessed with Adlerian psychology.
I need to order some books about that. I keep forgetting to do it.
I have 2 of them here. I have 3 of them at the studio, and I have 4 of them on Audible.
Yeah.
Mild obsession. Un poquito. Right?
Un poquito.
A little bit.
Un po.
And I've been taking notes because I'll be listening to my audiobook while driving, and I'll have to pause it, and then I'll have to audio transcribe my thoughts so that I'm not texting while driving.
Right. When I drive, I turn on Siri, specifically go, hey, Siri, make a note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I should do that.
Right.
I don't like that, though.
Because
your phone, if Siri's on, listens all the time.
I turn it on when I'm driving. Turn it off just so it's hands-free.
Yeah. All right. So, what is a relationship to you?
Asking me.
What is the definition of a relationship to you?
The definition of a relationship is an ever evolving, because people grow, an ever evolving mutual agreement between 2 people on what needs are being met in the relationship, or what is the give and take in the relationship.
I hate you.
Why?
This isn't going to be a real big back and forth, guys. Thanks, babe. because we've done so much of this that we understand what this is now. So now there's not like, well, what about this? Because normally you'll say something and then I'll say something
Right.
and it'll trigger thought in you or trigger thought in me, and we have a crazy back and forth. Do you want to know what I put down?
What?
What defines a relationship? A relationship is an agreement between two people to live under a set guideline,
Okay.
almost like a contract.
All right.
Trusting each other can happen, but at first you are putting trust in the defined expectations that you both set forth and have agreed to. Over time, the trust shifts from the agreement to the person, because that trust is not in the person, it's in the agreed
Contract,
right? As an
Right.
example, we have our courting phase questions.
Mm-hmm.
We have a really good courting phase. We decide to start moving on. All of the things that we have discussed during the courting phase are a mutual agreement, and we are putting trust in the other person's truth, that that's who they are and that's what they're doing. So you both have a mutual agreement on what it is that you want, and that is the proverbial contract. So your trust is not so much in the other person because you don't fucking know them yet. The trust is in the contract that you two have laid out, which is where you now have a mutual understanding of what you want out of life.
Right.
And then over time, you stop trusting in the contract and start trusting in the person because you now have confidence that this person is who they say they are.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to pause you. The more that I think about it, I personally would not use the word trust in the contract or the phrase trust in the contract. I don't know if I have so little faith in people, or I have just been disappointed so many times or let down. When I meet somebody new, it's zero expectations. Of course, there is the, oh man, am I just a really standoffish person? Because now I'm thinking about the contract. I'm like, I don't even want to present people a contract, because then that's a commitment that we're actually going to try to.
The contract is a metaphor, babe.
Right.
But it's, if you and I are sitting down, if you guys hear weird, like, that may make the noise, but if you hear weird noise, I am trying to keep this away from the microphone. Sometimes it picks up, so
Yeah.
I apologize about that. And I don't have headphones on, so I don't know if it's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That contract is, hey, I see you on social media and I shoot you a message and I'm like, hey, I see you're into photography. I'm also into photography. Would you like to grab coffee sometime? We can talk about gear or go to a garden and take pictures together. And you're like, yeah, sure. While we're taking those pictures, we're having conversations of what we enjoy in
Right.
life. And we are showing the other person who we are. That expectation of who we are is the proverbial contract, because you
Okay.
don't know the person. You're only trusting in the things that they
Face
tell
value.
you. So that's how I'm equating it to a contract, because and the way that I read it in the book is that it said, the young man gave an example as if you went to a bank to get a loan, the bank is not loaning you money on the quality of your character. They're loaning you money on the contract that is established between the two of you and that you are agreeing on. So
Right.
it's a set of expectations that you are both agreeing to. And that's where the trust comes in. You're agreeing to the set expectations. You trust that you are both going to uphold that.
Okay.
Does that make more sense?
It does. I guess this is just a struggle within me because I don't take people at face value.
I don't either.
I question everything, every motive. Why are you here? Why are you speaking to me? I don't know if that's because of how much our life has evolved and the placement in society that we have now. I guess I am really just a standoffish person. All of this makes sense. I'm not trying to
Right,
debate
no,
any of this.
That's fine.
So.
Okay, so this is going to get deeper in talking about trust and confidence.
Right.
And that's kind of where that was going, because you leave the trust of the agreement to the confidence in the person.
Right.
And this transpires into every interpersonal relationship that you will ever have. If you are having a work relationship, you can be friends with the people that you work with and then quit your job and never speak to them again.
Right.
It happens all the fucking time.
It's a relationship of convenience.
It's a relationship of trust, because you're at work and you're trusting the other person to do their set of labor or their job, and you are doing your job and you are being friends while there, because you both have a task that needs to be completed. And if you are doing it from a place of fuck this person, your job is not going to be good. This is the
Okay.
difference between a friend and acquaintance.
Well, I was gonna say it's more of a coworker.
Right.
Like, because
But
even
you can still
then-
treat them as if they are a friend.
Yeah, you can. You certainly can. just defining, like saying I work with these people so they are my friend. Well, they're not. I can treat them as my friend,
Right.
but they're not going to know the details of my personal life the way that a friend
Right.
would.
I should probably get into the tasks real quick.
Okay.
The life tasks in Adlerian psychology is work, friendship, or community. Friendship / community, because the word that translates from German into English is not. It basically means like a community agreement that everybody's going to work and be friendly and be the best for the community.
Okay.
And then love is the last task. And in Adlerian psychology, they are very big on interpersonal relationships are the reason for most people's problems. Like if you have problems, it can always come down to an interpersonal relationship. And if you have joy, it can always come down to an interpersonal relationship. And they get really hard into that. And I'm not going to get into that because that's not what this is about. Technically it is, and I should have, but I'm not going to because I'm not prepared for that conversation.
Okay.
I wanted this to be more about dating and things like that. So let me get back to my note real quick. It says, over time, the trust shifts from an agreement to the person, right? So you go from trust to confidence in the person. As trust is earned, this is why we speak on courting and building a foundation. Courting is the negotiating of the life contract. The foundation is agreeing on the terms and building from there. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, two archaeologists or whatever get together, get their blueprints, and then they start pouring foundation once they agree that this is the best thing to do.
Engineers.
Engineers. That's
Archaeologists are stone people that
are they?
dig in the ground and
You're
find
right.
dinosaur bones.
Archaeologist.
Yeah. Engineer was what you're looking
Engineer. Architect.
for. Architect.
That's the word. Architect.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right. Trust this. So this trust is conditional. And being that the foundation is built on conditions, we expect friends and partners to follow through. So that's where your initial trust comes in the contract. You guys have you've laid your foundation. You trust that it's going to cure and it's going to be strong. And if there's lies or falsities in that foundation, the concrete's not going to be the right mixture of water, sand, and rock. It's not going to cure properly. It's going to break. It's going to crack. It
Be
could
brittle.
sink. Brittle. Right. So there's a whole lot of things that could go wrong in laying the foundation in the event that you don't have somebody who's being forthcoming with the contract that you've agreed upon.
Before you continue on, I just had a flash in my brain of like a village. This village is mine, and it's all of the houses belong to the people in my life, right? And our relationships reflect the standing of the house. And I'm recognizing there's a lot of burned houses in my village. Holy shit. And it's not just one fire put this out. Someone was sitting there flicking matches at these houses, burned them down.
Yeah. Was it you?
No.
Okay.
It could have been. I mean, definitely there were times where I was slow bringing the water over.
Yeah.
I was dilly-dallying looking at the daisies when the house was burning down. That's just wild too.
Yeah.
Envision, I suppose.
All right. It is. And that speaks on something else entirely, and that's okay. Sometimes you're going to have burnt houses in your village. Just like sometimes you're going to have burnt bridges.
Yeah, but what's super dope is that the same people can rebuild them with newer knowledge.
Right. Right. Okay, so back to this. It says, this trust is conditional, and being that the foundation is built on conditions, we expect friends and partners to follow through.
I need you to slow down.
Well, I'm recapping.
Oh, okay.
Because I had already said that. So that
okay,
was
I
the
didn't
recap.
realize. I heard your voice going really fast. I couldn't even hear the words.
So again,
okay.
The trust is conditional, and being that the foundation is built on conditions, we expect friends and partners to follow through. New part. Just as they have with us. As you start to fall in love, the trust shifts from the agreed contract to the person and changes from trust to confidence. You start to believe in that person and not in the agreement. So the agreement is the contract.
Well, the agreement should always still be there, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the difference is you now have faith in the person that you are with because they've shown you who they are. They've earned the confidence and the belief in them. So the agreement, your lived set expectations and what you lay out in the foundation of your life should be adhered to, right? That can change. Sometimes you buy new houses, right? Your foundation can absolutely change. But You need to be able to trust and have faith in the abilities of your person, especially in a traditional value relationship. If you can't trust me to lead, and you only trust that I said I was capable of leading, and then the time comes where I try to lead and I fail, that's a fucking problem. Or if I put faith that you're going to be a great stay-at-home mom and the children are neglected or, abused or malnourished or overfed, that becomes a problem, right? So the ability for you to be a stay-at-home and the ability for me to lead, or however you live your life, comes down to us having confidence in each other. That's the shift. Okay. So to recap, as you start to fall in love, the trust shifts from the contract to the person, and it changes from trust to confidence, and you start to believe in that person, not in the agreement. This is the difference between treating someone as a friend or a partner and developing an honest relationship with them. Because the beginning stages of all relationships, and a relationship it's friendships are relationships, guys. Mother, father, mother, daughter, father, son, father, daughter, mother, son, all of that is a relationship. Your aunts and uncles, cousins, the connection that you have with somebody is a relationship.
Yeah.
And you can have a friend-based relationship with all of these people, or you can have a mother, father, mother, daughter. All of those relationships are going to look very different, but they are still relationships. But the transition from a social or parasocial, or not, I'm sorry, that was wrong. The difference between a social situation where you have friends, like a work friend, to a partner or somebody who you bring into your inner circle that you are willing to let live in your semi-burned village, and they're building their foundation with you and they're going to come stay there for a while, that is an earned place. Because there are levels to what a friendship is.
Right.
All right.
The new people coming into my village are very selective. There were crops lost.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't just burning the foundation of a house. There was life devastation and recuperation and mass devastation. Almost lost myself in this fire. In these fires, the multiple fires. So always be selective. After you've been burned, you don't just willy-nilly touch a stove anymore.
Right. Do you think that this is going to kind of fall back into a conversation that we've had in the past? Those hurts are going to happen no matter what. It doesn't matter how you could be the best fucking person on the planet. Those hurts are going to happen.
Yeah.
We need those hurts because you can't transfer your lived experience to your children and them get it. They have to understand by trial by fire. And there's going to be the first heartbreaks. There's going to be the first real best friend blowouts that is going to be over in a day or two because they're best friends, but they've never had a real falling out. So like their world's going to be devastated for a day or two. And then they're going to see each other at school on Monday and everything's going to go back to normal. Right. Yeah. So there's going to be that, but they have to understand that that's part of learning to problem solve, and that the world is not about what you want. There are other factors and other beings that are involved in all of this. This also transfers back into Adlerian psychology by looking at everyone as a being. Like, everyone has a right to be happy. You have a right to exist and do the things that you do. And when you recognize that everyone is the same as you are in terms that we are all human beings, it changes the perspective of me. Oh, are we diving into a different
Yeah, I'm
book
pulling
now?
this up real quick. I have to, because I just talked about this in the garden segment.
And that's the 4 agreements.
This
for
is
those
the
of
4
you who
agreements.
If you haven't read that book, you should. And if you are not on Patreon, she's doing a breakdown of this book.
In the garden segment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did I write it down at? It's actually in my Kindle somewhere, but I bet I can find it. So there's an introduction to this, and it's called The Smoky Mountain, or The Smoky Mirror. And it's pretty much this human lived 3,000 years ago, and he was working on becoming a medicine man. And he recognized that everything in life is a reflection of you. So we as people, as animals, as trees, as insects, we are all a reflection of ourselves. So this man, once he recognized that we are all mirrors and what you give out is what you will receive, he began seeing himself in everything and everyone. And it's just wild that that Adlerian, I mean, of course, it's not wild. Knowledge is vast, and a lot of people can have the same concepts without knowing the name of it.
Right.
But just two connections from two different authors and two separate books published at two separate times, speaking on the same thing, there has to be some validity to it.
Yeah. We are creatures of you get out or you get back what you put out in life.
Mm-hmm.
If you live your life as a victim, you will always be a victim. If you start taking strides to do more, to be a better husband, to be a better wife, to own a business, to increase your finances, and you really start working towards those things, the universe will eventually get the fuck out of your way.
Right.
It's going to throw a shit ton of obstacles at you to see if you really want it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want it bad enough, you're not going to have it. And that's really what it comes down to. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want your fucking marriage to succeed? Because if you really want it to succeed, you're going to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in a relationship, and I'm going to use the check-ins as an example, we get emails every day where somebody goes, my partner's not willing to do the check-ins. They don't take it seriously. And I'm using they so that I'm not putting a gender role on this because it's from both sides.
It is.
You don't want your marriage to work. Or you think that you are just some fucking high and mighty and that you don't need to grow or do anything, and you're fucking wrong. In that scenario, if your person comes to you and goes, hey, we need to start doing this, it'll make our relationship better. They're not saying like, we're having a dope relationship, let's make the relationship better. They're telling you that there's something wrong.
Right. And they're not saying you're the problem, you're fucking up.
Right. We just have to grow.
Right.
And sometimes that's what's wrong. We've been stagnant for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
We should be growing together. We should be making moves and like leveling up our lives and planning vacations, and our sex life is diminished. Like there could be a whole lot of things there. But if you're not willing to do the work to improve your situation, you don't want it bad enough.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about your marriage? Are you that content knowing that your person is unhappy and that you're not willing to do anything about it because fuck it? Right? Because that's a lot of people's mindsets. And I'm not saying that I've never experienced that by any means. I have been that person. So I'm fucking speaking from experience. You get to a point where you're like, I don't fucking care anymore. It is what it is.
It doesn't matter. My actions don't matter. My feelings don't matter. Clearly they don't care. Why
Right.
should I?
Right. This is just one more thing that I'm going to have to change about me to make them happy.
It's another thing that's just going to piss them off.
Right. There's a whole lot of things that go into that. And that in itself is a fucking problem.
Yeah.
And then if that is all of your standings right now, you need to be asking yourself, how did I get here? Because at one time you loved that person, right?
Oh gosh, at one time it was so beautiful. There was so much love. There was laughter and smiles, and you leave the house, the door closed, and you're like, can't wait to see them next week.
Right.
Oh God, I'm gonna start getting emotional. I'm gonna start
10 minutes down the road,
crying.
hey, I know you just left, but I fucking miss you. What do you got on your schedule today? Just, curious, what do you got going on? And it's not because I don't know what your schedule is. I need to know where you're going to be at specific times because I'm sending you shit to the house, going to be gone for 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Like those things matter. You do those things in the beginning because you're feeling good and lustful and optimistic about the future. Your relationship is still based on the agreement, but the confidence in the person has faded over time because they're not willing to take the steps to grow. Not a podcast till Peaches cries.
Yeah, I thought about you leaving my apartment and texting me from your car.
I didn't make it out of the fucking apartment complex.
No. And what's even funnier is that the parking spots were right outside my apartment window. So every time you got in the car, your headlights would come on. I'd be like, oh, he's going to text me. I would know. It would light up my whole living room.
That's so funny.
And then you would text me. And then it went from that to, don't leave the house today. I'm getting things delivered. And then it's an edible arrangement or chocolates.
Or flowers. I did flowers a couple times.
You have done flowers a couple of times. I love getting flowers. I start pressing them. I have books all over the house with pressed flowers in them so I can stumble upon them and then have a memory and then put them back in the book because I want to do an epoxy maybe.
Yeah.
Or put them in a frame or something. Some long distant art project, but forever memories of flowers my husband got me.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to this because we really just derailed.
Are you on a time crunch?
No. You have to... Oh, it's only 11 o'clock in the morning. Good job, dingus. Would you like me to pick that up for you?
No.
Are you going to need it for your notes?
No, my notes are on there.
Oh.
You'll come across and recognize them and be like, I didn't type this out.
So we were talking about courting and negotiating contracts, foundations. The next thing I wrote down said that this trust is conditional. Trust. That new belief in the contract is conditional. There are terms that we are going to set forth in this contract that we are both going to abide by so that the trust building aspect of this can happen, to move from trust to confidence.
It will always be conditional though. Right? If you get into a relationship with somebody and you guys agree that you are monogamous and you're together for 10 years and you're married and that person cheats because you've been together for 10 years and they have gained trust in other areas, that is still a key thing that's been broken.
But that breaks the confidence in the person.
Right.
Because it shifts away from that. The contract is a fucking metaphor. It's not an actual contract. It's you guys are agreeing on these things so that you can learn to build trust in each other. I'm just re-keying that because I'm going to keep saying contract and I don't want them to think of like an actual contract. You shift from that belief in what they're saying into a confidence in who they are.
Right.
Because they've shown you who they can be.
Right.
So we get this idea. This is why so many people have bad things happen and go, I can't believe that's who they were. That's not who they were as a person. How could they do this? Blah, blah, blah. Because they have a confidence and a belief in that person. You're right. You are absolutely right. But when that cheating happens, for example, or somebody doesn't come home for a weekend and or become an alcoholic, those things break the confidence in the person, which reverts it back to the trust and the agreement. You're now reverting, you are being demoted in terms of the faith of your relationship.
Okay.
So I guess on the same thing, you can rebuild that trust with new agreements, new contracts, but the confidence in the person has to be reestablished. And when people go, can a relationship survive after cheating? It absolutely can. You can regain confidence in people. It may take some time, but that doesn't mean that you got to just walk away altogether. Somebody becomes an alcoholic or an addict of some sort. You can repair that. It absolutely can be repaired, but a new contract has to be established and trust has to be regained, and that before you can gain confidence back in the person, because the expectations take time to solidify, right? I don't remember where I was. This trust is conditional, and being that the foundation is built on conditions, we expect friends and partners to follow through, just as they have with us. I don't know if I read that or not, so I'm just going to keep going. As you start to fall... Okay, I didn't. As you start to fall in love... I'm going to reread that paragraph again, or that thing. This trust is conditional, and being that the foundation is built on conditions, we expect friends and partners to follow through, just as they have with us. As you start to fall in love, the trust shifts from the contract to the person, and it changes the trust from trust to confidence. You start to believe in that person and not in the agreement. This is the difference between treating someone as a friend or a partner and developing an honest relationship with them. I put honest in there because if your foundation is built on falsehoods or lies, your foundation is not solid. This will not last. This also speaks on the need to set boundaries of what you are willing to accept and what your hard limits are and your hard no's are, so that there is an expectation laid out in the future that this is not something that I'm going to be able to live my life with this person if I overstep these conditions. And that could be going to the bar. That could be cheating. That could be drinking. It could be drug use. It could be not going to church. It could be whatever the fuck it is. Just because you have a boundary doesn't mean that I have to accept that boundary. And by that, I mean, I don't have to accept you. If we're courting and you're like, I need a man that goes to church every Sunday. And I'm like, that's not me. And you're like, well, that's my boundary. Get fucked. Cool. It's nice meeting you. You're a dope person, but I'm not willing to go to church. I don't have to agree to live under your expectations of who I am. You don't have to do that with me under any circumstance. When we build that foundation and we agree to do this moving forward, that's the contract. You know what I mean? So having those boundaries is fucking healthy.
Yeah.
And anybody that tells you boundaries are used to control and manipulate people, you don't have to be there.
They're trying to control and manipulate you.
Right. You have to be okay with what I'm okay with, but you can't have boundaries and controls because that's what it is. And realistically, what you just said is factual.
Yeah.
We'll use the bar thing for an example. If that's your boundary and I'm going to the bar and hanging out with women, Because, well, I don't have to fucking do what you say. You're trying to control me. Well, I'm trying to control you while you sit at home and I get to go do whatever the fuck I want. How is that fair to you?
Right. There was something that you said and I wanted to touch on it, but now I don't remember what it was.
You want me to read it again?
No, it was something that you said and I think about it.
The church thing?
No, I need a second.
Okay.
This lion's mane is really doing its fucking thing. It's like I try to channel it and it just comes up to the surface of my ultra calm, crystal clear lake.
You need to start taking niacin with it.
I need to order the niacin. I also need your help opening my Tulsi.
Okay.
I couldn't open it the other day. I almost made a TikTok of what are men good for? Opening everything in my household. That's why I have a husband.
You know that they make jar openers.
Well, I have all the grippy things. I ran it under hot water. I tried my teeth. Nothing worked. I needed my husband's. The thing that you said was something along the lines of expecting me to live by the version of me in your head.
Right.
Whatever it was. If somebody is courting and their boundary is, I need a man who goes to church every Sunday, that's the vision of their partner, not of the person.
Right.
And I think people need to realize that. They're not...
This is a really good way to word that.
Right. They're not trying to make you change. They're not trying to impose themselves on you or be controlling. That's the expectations of their future wife, their future husband, their future partner. If it's not you, it's not you, and you can say that.
Put that motherfucker on your vision board.
Right.
That was good. That's a clip.
Yeah.
That's a clip because you have... This is no different than people visioning their wedding day their entire lives or
Right.
having their dream car and knowing what the fucking stitch pattern looks like in the seats. Like, you are manifesting your future and don't settle.
Right.
If you go, this is what I want from a partner, and that person goes, I'm not willing to do that, that's dope, bro. Go do you.
Word.
I know what I fucking want, and I would rather be alone than not have it.
Thanks for letting me know. Thank you.
Saved us a whole lot of time.
Bitch, I'm going to pay for your lunch and give you $50 for lunch tomorrow.
Yeah. We can meet again tomorrow and have lunch and just be friends.
No, I'm going to tip you. I don't want to see you again. We don't have to be friends. You don't like what I got going on, word, but
That's
thank
funny.
you. I'm going to start doing that. Tipping people for just exiting my life. Like, you don't like me and they say, fuck you, bitch, I'm out. $20. Thank you for the service. Fantastic work.
Yeah, we go broke real quick. Too many snakes. Brain just went down a whole different rabbit hole. I really had to stop speaking just now. Okay. You cannot believe in another person if you do not believe in yourself.
Correct.
Why?
If you don't have faith in your own actions, in your own words, in your own belief system, your own morals, how can you believe anybody else at their word or their actions?
Okay.
Right.
Why that?
So I have been that person where I had no self-esteem. I had no self-worth. I was doing shady shit. I was lying to people, and it wasn't even significant lies. If somebody would ask me to hang out, can't, family emergency, sorry. In reality, I'm sitting in my underwear watching Rick and Morty getting baked on my couch. Now I tell people I'm having self-care. We'll reschedule for next time. Right? Why are you smirking?
Why is that hot to me?
What?
You sitting on your couch in your underwear smoking a bong watching Rick and Morty.
I would do it here, but you don't like the smell of smoke in the house.
Oh.
You can get a TV on the patio.
What is wrong with me?
I think it's just that it's me.
That whole envision was sexy as fuck. And you're right, I can't stand the smell of burnt cannabis.
Right. Probably because it's self-care and it's me loving me.
I mean, you're banging.
And it's femininity and
Yeah.
me doing the womanly thing. I don't remember where I was going with any of that.
It doesn't matter because I'm not going to be able to focus for the rest of this. So there's that.
You asked me a question.
Oh, you said that you gave me the whole rundown of why you can't.
Oh, the faith in other people if you
Right.
don't have faith in yourself. You know that saying, if they're accusing you, they're the one doing. that was me. I was an untrustworthy person. I was not a person of my word. I was a very fake person, not fake to the extent of I was pretending to be friends with people and use like ulterior motives and whatnot. I bubbly me, but internally I was very ugly. I fuck all of you. Every woman was competition to me. They were not, it was not a sisterhood. I was a very like backed into a corner dog fighting for my life internally. And because I was that nefarious, toxic ooze of a human being, I believed everybody was that way. I believed it. Because that's what I was experiencing from other people, because that was the quality of human that I was up to par with.
So that was your perception because that's who you were.
Right.
So you believe that's perception is reality.
It
right?
is. Perception is reality.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hit you with something different then, because
Okay.
that's not where I was going with it. Although I think a lot of that is true because of what you said earlier about the mirroring.
Right.
Right. If you, you cannot believe in another person if you do not believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This comes down to your judgment.
Okay.
If you don't believe in who you are and you don't know your core values and you think that you're a piece of shit and that you're not good enough and that your mother was right and you'll never be anything more than you currently are, or you're going to end up in prison or dead at 18 years old because you're a piece of shit, you're fucking stupid, all of that, your judgment is going to reflect all of the things that those people have planted in you. It's taken root. So if you can't trust your judgment, how can you trust the people around you? So your belief in yourself is going to dictate the people that are around you, because if you believe that's who you are, you can't trust your own judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I couldn't trust anything that I was doing would make sense why I was with piece of shit people. Well, not piece of shit people. Me back then would have called them piece of shit people because they were lying to me. They were cheating on me. All of those other things. I was a piece of shit person. But that makes sense, the judgment thing. And okay.
Go ahead.
No, it's fine.
I'm going to just read this entire paragraph.
Okay.
And then we can pick that back up. Because,
it's gone.
Okay. You cannot believe in another person if you do not believe in yourself. So you try to live in a way that the other person can believe in you. If you cannot believe in yourself, have the confidence to live under the conditions, which is the agreement, right? That you would show you lack good judgment. That doesn't make sense. If you cannot believe in yourself, have the confidence to live under the conditions, you would show you lack good judgment. If you show. Okay, I'm going to start that over. You cannot believe in another person if you do not believe in yourself. So you should try to live in a way that another person can believe in you. If you cannot believe in yourself, have the confidence to live under the conditions that if you show you lack good judgment. That doesn't read right. Damn it, why did I write it like that? If you show you lack good judgment. Okay, try this again. You cannot believe in another person if you do not believe in yourself. So you try to live in a way that the other person can believe in you, right? So you're kind of putting up a falsehood.
Okay.
If you cannot believe in yourself, have the confidence to live under the conditions that have been set.
Okay, so you don't have the confidence in yourself, but you live the way that you would if you did.
That's the goal.
Right? That's the goal. So fake it till you make it, baby.
Kinda.
And then because you're living your life this way, you're going to start attracting people. And you are creating agreements or contracts with these people living under this falsehood until you can get to that point where you have that confidence when you're within yourself. So creating those agreements with people almost sets in stone that you have to fucking do this. Like if you are a lazy person and you lack motivation and you procrastinate and you're very much I'm gonna rush it at the last minute, this could be the motivational push, because people will walk away from your life if you no longer hold up your end of the bargain. And people who do have self-worth and the confidence within themselves would walk away from somebody who put up the falsity without putting the actions behind it. So if you have people in your life who you deem are important and you don't want to lose them, it could be the motivation to finally get your shit together and get it into gear and then gain that confidence, and you'll be able to see what you are capable of because the people in your life already believe in you.
Right. You are forced to live to others' expectations to some degree, no matter what.
Right.
Especially if you want to have a good interpersonal relationship, because the agreements that you are setting out are going to be the expectations that they have of you. So you're absolutely right in that. You said fake it till you make it.
Right.
I fucking hate that phrase.
Yeah.
I've always hated that phrase because you are putting on a mask
Right.
and hoping that you're going to be successful. However, I have a new thought
Outlook.
on that. It takes 21 repetitions to make something habitual, is what I believe the last thing I read on that was. That number could be wrong. It's been a long time since I've read that, but
It's the consistency.
21 consecutive days to make something a habit. Like getting up every morning, going to the gym. 21 days, it'll become habitual. Your body will respond. You'll wake up, go to the gym. It'll just become an automatic thing. That fake it till you make it. If you have to put on a mask and start working to become the person that you think you deserve to be, and you're trying to push the universe out of your way, and you're trying to get in shape, and you're trying to get your diet down, and you're 300 pounds and you want to live like you're 150 and you're faking it, whatever. Those habits are going to become sustainable. You are going to create new behavioral patterns if you are consistent with faking it. So that fake it till you make it thing actually has a deeper meaning to me now than it ever had before, because I'm looking at it from a point of create new habits.
Right.
That also speaks on imposter syndrome. You can look at it the same way. If you're trying to become a photographer or a tattoo artist and or trying to become a painter and you're doing paintings every single day, you're instilling a habit to hone your craft, to like do the research and try new things. And you are creating a habit that's going to push you towards success because you're doing it consistently. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes habit.
It does.
Fake it till you make it. Practice makes habit. Perfect practice makes perfect. But what's perfect to you right now is not going to be perfect to you in a year if you're continuing to do what you're doing.
Right.
Your art, speaking on art, because this is an easy one, perfect to you may never exist. They say art is finished when the artist is happy with where they've made it or they've reached their artistic limit. Right? You seen the horse picture that's like super detailed on the end and it goes medium and then goes to a line drawing that like a 3-year-old did? That's the example of that. At 3 years old, this was the limit of their ability. At 35, the ass end of this horse that's hyper fucking detailed and realistic is the end of their ability. Where is it going to be at 40 and 50 if they continue to hone their craft over that time?
Right.
Okay. That was not at all relevant to what we were talking about, but I wanted to get that out there because your fake it till you make it statement made me relive a thought I was having while driving. So,
and I want to clarify that fake it till you make it is not, how's your day going? Oh, I'm great, guys.
right.
That's repressing and
Lying
and, oh man, can I go as far as to say slightly manipulating?
It is. It is manipulating. It's also a really depressing thing when you think about it.
It is.
Because it means that I don't have anybody to talk to and you really don't
Right.
care. You're only asking me how I'm doing because it's polite conversation.
It could also be viewed as manipulation of oneself, because when I ask somebody how you are doing, I don't ask everybody that. I don't. I very selectively ask people, how are you doing? Because I genuinely give a fuck about how you are doing.
Yeah. That's the difference between what's up, man,
Right.
and how are you?
So
Yeah.
when I am asking someone how they are doing and they feel the need to respond with, oh, I'm doing great, and they are lying, that's the manipulation of oneself, because you are rejecting and shutting down every opportunity of someone to care for you. And you're deluding yourself into, oh, they don't really care. I'm a piece of shit. They're going to forget in 5 minutes.
Do you think that there's an extreme accountability that can be had in this from your standpoint?
Because I'm calling it self-manipulation?
No. You ask how they're doing and they say, I'm great, even though they're lying to you.
Right.
From your standpoint, being the one that's asking that,
Right.
Do you think that you would want to look at yourself and see if you're the type of person that they can confide in?
I do that before I ask.
Okay.
That's an evaluation I do beforehand. I am very big about not overstepping my lane when it comes to other people's lives. And I will put out feelers. The first time I put myself in a position to be a carer for somebody, right? A healing person. That first message will always say something along the lines of, I am not trying to intrude and I'm not trying to pry. I just want you to know that I am here for you. And if you need somebody to listen to or to vent to, I'm an option.
Why'd you choose the frame message?
Because I don't see people in real life often. If
Most people are going to default to that, though.
right, messaging?
Right.
Right, because, well, that's what my life is. I message people. I don't do phone calls. I don't like being on the phone because then there's awkward silences of all right. And then etiquette, guys, if you initiate the phone call, you initiate the ending of the phone call.
Yeah.
So I hate just sitting there. Somebody's called me. It's been 45 minutes. I have shit I have to do. I've already said like, all right, I'm kind of busy. I got to get going. And then you keep talking. It puts me in an uncomfortable position and I am selfish 100%. I don't want to be in that. So
the reason I asked about the message thing is because people don't have that in-person conversation. And I don't ask people how they're doing over message. Unless I really haven't heard from them or they live at a distance, I'm going to wait and have that conversation in person. Unless I can't, right? Obviously.
Right.
But I think that there says a lot about being able to sit and be with somebody when they're going through things. But that also speaks to the level of how intimate are they with your life.
right.
Because there are people in our lives that I care about that I will message, and that's the extent of it because I don't want them around me all the time.
There are also people out of state, out of country.
Right. But there are also people that I will go out of my way for. I haven't seen you in 3 days or you're not replying to my messages. I'm going to your fucking house. Like, so there are levels. I think that's important, which is why I asked why you said message.
It also depends on the severity of it. Right. And like you said, the position of the relationship, the stance that I have in the relationship with the person.
Would you go as far as to say that falls back on the trust versus the confidence? The difference between building the foundation and having one built? And I'm gonna spring off that, but
Building a foundation and having one
the
built.
beginning of this whole conversation was trust and confidence.
Right.
Trust in the contractor, confidence in the person.
Right.
Would you say that your willingness to do that, go to the extreme, would come down to trust or confidence? Because if you have the confidence in the person and you have that deep interpersonal relationship, I think that, I mean, wouldn't you put more into that than you would have if you just have the trust in the contract?
My mind's going a million miles a minute. It depends on the situation. If I am in public and I see somebody having a mental breakdown and they have like a pew pew pressed to their head, I don't know this person and I'm still going out of my way. I'm not going to be a bystander in this. If this is somebody that I vaguely know, like it's a friend of a friend and we've had a couple of conversations in passing, not my position. I'm not saying anything.
Why? Why would you be there for an extreme I don't know
Because
to an extreme I kind of know?
well, I didn't specify that one as an extreme. If that person has a pew pew pressed to their head, I'm stepping in any situation. If someone is getting ready to unalive themselves, I don't care who they are, I'm stepping in.
Okay.
If
I'm with you, you're not. Somebody's got a gun to their head,
Yeah.
and you try to intervene. I'm dragging you the fuck out of there.
Okay.
That's not happening.
Right.
That's a situation that you avoid.
That would be a very hard situation for you to drag me away from.
No, it wouldn't. I will caveman.
Right. No,
you can kick and
physically it's
scream.
not going to be hard for
Not
you.
even
You're
a
going to
little bit.
remove me.
Yes, I am.
Emotionally, I think the next few days of that, especially if that person is successful in unaliving themselves, it's going to be a very, very hard thing for me to get through.
Yeah.
Um,
That specifically, I was meaning a stranger in public.
Gotcha.
I want to point out though that if we saw somebody in public that was crying, I would absolutely expect you to step in, or I
Yeah.
would step in. I think that is the friend community aspect of Adlerian psychology. We should be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's too many people out there who don't have anyone.
Right.
Okay.
If somebody uses crisis as a manipulation tactic, you get me twice. The first instance, I am really good in high stress situations when it comes to people needing to be okay. Right? If somebody has lost their limb, like I am focused, you're okay, and then the fallout we'll deal with afterwards. Like it become very like tunneled vision, I guess. Like I'm focused on the person being okay, and everything else is, like I said, the aftermath. The second time that same person has a crisis, I will be there because I saw that they were able to work through it the first time. I would be more vigilant on the situation as to what's going on, what's their mental state, and if this needs more help than me. So the specific instance that I'm thinking about right now in saying all of this, there is a scene in the show You where Beck has a friend. Her name is actually Peach. And Peach is very obsessive over Beck. And when she doesn't get her way, she does things to get attention. And she attempted Schnurschneid, called Beck, and said, "You were right. I am such a bad friend. I took all of these pills." And Beck had to rush over there. And she was like, "She's done this before. I know what I need to do. Go get the naproxen," or whatever it's called. And as the gentleman who's with Beck is grabbing all of these things, he notices a journal that Peach wrote in. And he was like, "Holy shit, she documented her unaliving of herself." And it wasn't enough to do anything. It was purely an attention grab. In that instance, for the sake of my own mental health, I would start getting professionals involved if need be, because if you are in crisis like that, you need help. This is not you just need to be here with me and everything will be okay. No, what the fuck, it's not. And then I would also start distancing myself from that person until they were in the better mental state to be able to have a relationship. Because I'm not a savior. I am not a savior. I am not the saving grace of somebody's life. I am not going to be the reason that somebody decides to live. I feel that is a manipulation tactic for people who have that mindset. And I guess you could say that falls into the judgment and the trust of all of it. So yeah, the judgment and the trust would have to be there depending on the circumstance.
The drug that you were talking about is Narcan.
Narcan.
The other thing that I wanted to point out in all of that is in Adlerian psychology, the people who hurt themselves do so to hurt the people that hurt them.
Yeah.
So people who self-harm, they're not doing it to harm themselves. They're doing it for attention or to hurt the people who hurt them.
Yeah.
And the prime example of that is I will show you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that they go much deeper. That's the surface level conversation of it. And I'm not here to debate that. This is a theory. But
well, as somebody who used to self-harm, it was 100% for attention. And it was because I wanted to see them care about me.
Yeah. Well, and there's a self-realization in that because there are people who are going to be, no, I just want to feel.
No, I wanted to feel like I mattered to somebody. I wanted to see the panic in their eyes when they saw that I was doing this horrendous thing to me. And how could you do this? You're such a special person.
Right.
And it never happened.
I am not taking away from the fact that you do get a dopamine response from shit like that.
There's an adrenaline rush.
An endorphin release, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Back to this. If you should show you lack good judgment, this will instill doubt in the relationships on a subconscious level, and this can even go as low as nagging and negative self-talk.
The first thing that came to my mind when you said all of that was, say there's a couple, husband says something offhandedly, doesn't realize it's going to hurt his wife's feelings. And her first thought is, I can't believe he would say something like that. Because you think you know your person so well. And then I just lost everything that we were talking about because now I'm focusing on this hypothetical situation.
Okay, we'll continue with that because I want to deep dive that now too.
Okay. So she takes it super personally and does not bother to go, why would you, like, where did that come from? Like, can you just elaborate that a little bit for me? And immediately goes to, I need you to read that one more time for me. The beginning of it.
If you show you lack good judgment, this will instill doubt in your relationships on a subconscious level.
Okay. So he showed a lack of poor judgment in, let's say that he made a joke about her. He's aware that it's an insecurity, but he thinks it's a silly insecurity, like her stretch marks. He thinks that they're absolutely adorable. And in the moment, his good judgment in his mind was, I'm going to crack this little joke and everyone's going to laugh. It's going to be such a super cute moment. It's going to make her feel good about her body. And it doesn't land. I mean, everybody jumps on the hype train and trying to make her feel good, but she takes it super personal. I cannot believe that he just drew attention to one of the things I'm most insecure about. To her, he passed one of the poorest judgments that he could have within their marriage. And that is now subconsciously going to place doubt on her. She's not going to voice anything anymore. He is, in her mind, deemed no longer a safe space, whether consciously or subconsciously, for the things that she carries deepest within her about herself, any negativity, any self-frustrations, the I'm not perfects. It could be relationship and damaging. It could be relationship damaging, and coming back from that subconsciously, trying to pinpoint where that is. Say she doesn't bring it up. She just sits with it and goes, okay, noted, never talking to my husband about anything like that again. Now he's wondering, why is she so withdrawn? Does she not love me anymore? My mind's going faster than my mouth can keep up.
That's going to be the situation where that woman never lets that vulnerability out. I hate that term. Doesn't allow people to know her weakness ever again because of the way her husband made her feel.
Right.
That argument is no different than men who have been hurt by women and had their feelings weaponized, thrown back in their fucking face and used against them, bringing into the next relationship, and people going, well, they didn't do that to me, so why should I treat them that way? Because it has been done to me, and I know how it fucking feels, and I don't want to experience that again.
Right.
That conversation that you just gave is from a woman's perspective that clearly states everything that men have been saying for years now about their feelings being weaponized and used against them. So I'm really glad that you did that. Okay. You said a whole lot of shit there, and there was a whole bunch that I wanted to get into, but I didn't want to fuck up your train of thought.
Okay.
I almost want to pull this out and rewind it so that I can go back to the beginning of what you were talking about. Because in the beginning we were talking about, you said, you said a husband can say something and joking, and she doesn't say, why did you say that? Why do you feel that way?
Immediately takes it personally as a personal attack.
Okay. So in a situation where an argument is happening and somebody tells their person very matter of fact, this is how I feel, or this is why I'm angry, or this is why this is a situation, and the other person rebuttals, slides it off so it bounces and deflects, and does not hear what the person is saying, then later on we get an email. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what they're going through. They won't talk to me. And then they say in the same email what happened during the argument. Well, they fucking told you exactly what they were going through and what they felt, but you deflected it and didn't fucking hear them. When somebody says something to you out of anger or drunkenness or whatever, you need to listen to what the fuck they're saying.
Because there's no filter. If
you're in the middle of any type of situation where you're trying to problem solve and somebody says something to you, you don't get to disregard that. Is there a possibility that they're blowing smoke up your ass? Absolutely, because people are scumbags and they fucking lie.
Yep, people please.
But the reality of it is, most of the time, if a man says this and you fucking deflect it and then you can't figure out what the fuck is going on, well, they told you what was going on. You showed them that they don't matter. You deflected. And this, men do this to women too. So it's not just a gender thing, but I'm using it from my perspective. That's normal behavior. And then you wonder why you can't fucking communicate because you're not listening to each other. And in that moment, you're telling your person that your feelings don't matter enough to me for me to actually hear what's going on, because my hurt means more than your hurt. And what you said just hurt me, instead of me being able to realize that in the situation I fucked up.
Right.
There was also a negative self-talk in that I want to touch on real quick, and then we'll move on to the next thing. If you are one of those people that constantly negative self-talk, and the people around you start to believe that that is how you view yourself, they are going to believe that you view yourself in that way because that's who you are. Right? So I make comments all the time about how dumb I am, right? Because I truly do not believe that I'm an intelligent person. I'm not educated. I fucking grew up very fast. I have a whole lot of things that I believe that other people planted in me that took root.
That makes me so fucking mad.
Well,
And it's not your fault.
it's like kudzu. You can destroy it on the surface, but unless you get that root out and burn that shit, it's going to continue to regrow and take over buildings and destroy plant life, and everything that's growing around it is going to be destroyed.
Yeah, it takes all the nutrients out.
Right? And when you have a healthy relationship and you have one person that is constantly, I'm not good enough, I'm fucking stupid, I'm fat, how do you love me? What do you think you're going to do to your person when you plant the seeds? You are spreading the kudzu vine.
Damn, bro,
from
you're
you
right.
to them. Which is why we don't allow the negative self-talk, and we stop it as soon as it happens. And like sometimes you have to stop and rephrase things. I don't believe I'm stupid because I forgot to put that screw back in. It was just a statement because how fucking dumb was that I didn't do that? Like that was a bonehead moment.
Yeah.
But that bonehead moment sounds a whole lot different than I'm a fucking piece of shit. I'm stupid. I can't believe I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, so the negative self-talk can subconsciously destroy your relationships and the way that the people around you view you in your relationships.
I have had that happen to me in relationships where I have been on the tail end where I've tried to make people feel better and I've tried to help them with their negative self-talk and see them for more than what they are. And I spent years doing it, trying to be that support system. And it finally got to the point of, damn, you're right. You are just a miserable, depressed, shitty human being. You don't care about my feelings. You don't care about your actions affecting other people. You're selfish. You were right. I should have listened to you all along. I don't know if that was a savior complex within me, or I just really want everybody to be happy in life, and I'm willing to do as much as I can. But you're right. Subconsciously, like clearly I'm not in those relationships with those people anymore. The relationships ended. And I do believe that a massive contributor to that was they allowed their mindsets to bleed into reality, and that is who they became as people.
Those relationships don't mean boyfriend, girlfriend.
No.
It's all relationships.
Yeah.
That's why I clarified that earlier.
Yeah.
3 times now we have made the conversation somehow go back to my brain of people asking you how you're doing. And every single time you were in a tangent and I fucking forgot what I was going to say. And you just said it again. So I'm going to say this, and it's not relevant in the conversation right now, but earlier we were talking about people asking how you're doing and people being willing to actually divulge and what that says about your character. I don't tell people shit.
Me either.
I have 3 or 4 people in my life that when they ask me how I'm doing, I know that they genuinely give a shit about me and I'm going to answer their question. Otherwise, I'm good. And that's not me being false or lying. It's me knowing that you're a piece of shit person who's only asking me about what's going on so that it can be used against me later or so that you can gossip about me.
Yeah.
And I want to say that because earlier when we were talking about it, people who were like, I'm good, and they're lying and they're living that fake thing. And I asked about the accountability aspect. I was going to go to that part next because there are a lot of people out there who will take what you said as, well, damn, fuck them for lying to me, when in reality, you could be a piece of shit person that's not a good listener. It's going to get defensive or tell everyone on the fucking planet what's going on with this person. So you should also reflect on you if people aren't willing to divulge in who you are as a person.
Yeah. Before you move on, there's something you said and I want to comment on it. I need to think about it. It's gone because all I can think about is that bitch in 6th grade who told everybody that I had lice when I confided in her about it.
That lion's mane's 1 for 1 now.
What was it? I'm so focused on that memory. I remember walking in the band class and everybody hitting me with, don't come near me, you have lice. I'm like, no, I don't. How the fuck do you know that? Like, I was ostracized. Is that the word? I want to say I was cast out like for weeks.
Because you had head lice at one point?
Because I had head lice before I came back to school. And this one person who was supposed to be my friend, like, I'm fucking 12, 13 years old. This is the end of my life right now. I have lice. Like, my home life is a wreck. I can't escape to school. I can't be near my friends. Like, my world is ending right now. And I thought I was confiding in somebody who cared. And instead, she fucking told everybody. And when I got back to school, my home life is shit. Now school life is shit. I'm alone everywhere I go. Great.
Yep.
Can you read that thing one more time? See if that jogs my memory. Oh, no, it was about how are you?
Yeah, because I had nothing to do
it wasn't even
with
written down. And you were talking about people wanting information about you to be sneaky
to use it
snakes.
against you.
Yep. Oh, I remembered what it was. You were really the only person I tell things to. I share dope things about my life with other people, like all of the wins. But I don't show my belly to anybody anymore. I mean, I'm emotionally open. I'll talk about hardships that I have mentally or obstacles in relationships that I've overcome or even cutting people out of my life and how that's affected me. Because I think those are all tools that people can add into their own belts.
It's going to help them grow.
Right. I told Katie about my hair falling out. And that was it. Katie knew.
You know that people are more salty about you sharing your wins than you are about sharing your losses.
Oh, of course they are.
I don't share my wins with anyone anymore.
No?
I don't. Sean knew about Thailand before anyone because Sean loves me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have I have three people now that are men that I can confide in. I have Jordan, I have Sean, and now I have Scott. Well, Kenya's husband.
Oh, stop.
Sent me a very long text message yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I know that being a content creator is lonely. I know that it's hard. I know that it's stressful. And I just want to check on you. And we had like a fucking 8 or 9 text message conversation as we were going through our day. But that is the first time anyone in my life has ever reached out to me on that level just to check on my well-being. Sean doesn't do that. We don't do it to each other. We see each other every day.
Right.
So we have that ongoing knowing what's in each other's lives. But I don't see Scott like that. I've talked to him in person once. And that was when he came down for the podcast. Like,
almost a year ago.
Right. And I don't know him like that, but we do talk regularly about motorcycles and life and video games and things. Like he texts me. Jordan and I are in very much enmeshed in each other's lives because I consult for him. He's my friend. We dirt bike together. Like,
you do business together.
Right. So it's the same thing with Sean, but I don't have that with anyone else. And now I have a third person. So I'm excited about that. Right. I know that there are people out there that love me and would do anything for me, but it's not the same when it's just superficial shit. Like to have somebody genuinely reach out just to see how your mental health is, it's just very different. I don't know if I'm going to leave that in there. I'm probably going to cut that.
Yeah.
I don't remember why that got brought up. Oh, the victories thing. Yeah. I remember now. Sorry guys, we tangented. Side railed really hard. I'm cutting all of it. People don't want to see your victories. Sean knew about Thailand before anyone else because I see him every day. That's where I think I cut the thing, or I'm going to have to cut this. I don't have people that I can reach out to and be like, hey, our seminar things are coming into fruition that are in my personal day-to-day life that give a fuck, because most of the people in our personal lives don't give a shit that we are doing what we're doing.
Right.
So much so that the people in our personal lives have all fallen off. And the people that are a part of our little tribe now hold more weight than the people that we've known for years, because we are leveling and moving forward and they are still doing what they've been doing. There is an envy that does not look good on people.
Yeah.
And that envy is a destroyer. It's a destroyer. It's why it's one of the major sins. Like, it's a fucking problem. Yeah. So I don't even really tell people my victories, and I damn sure don't share my defeats.
I don't share anything with anybody.
Yeah.
I very rarely tell you when I'm going through it and I want to unalive myself.
Yeah. Well, it's because there's nothing I can do about it.
Right. It's one of those things where people are either go, oh, that sucks, or just fucking do it. So.
Wow.
What?
I don't like that. I've never treated either one of those things like that.
I've heard you say that.
There's nothing I can do about it. I've never done that to you.
No, you haven't. But I've heard you say that to people.
Right. Well, to other people.
Yeah.
Because other people don't have the place in my life that you have.
Yeah.
You and I have a very different bond than Joe Blow down the road. I don't give a fuck about those people. And for a very deep, sincere, what are you going to do about it is even what I've asked you. Like, you're not happy right now. What do you need? What are you going to do to change what you're unhappy about? The difference between me and you having that conversation and Joe Blow down the street having that conversation is, you know, that I'm trying to get you to realize what you need to change. And they take that very personal.
Right.
Well, they weren't there for me. I was there for you, because if I'm going through it and I need change, I need somebody to challenge me, not fucking pat me on the back and tell me it'll be okay. Because that's not going to fix me. It's not going to help the situation. I kind of did take that personal just now, because I've never done either of those things to you.
Oh, I didn't mean for you to take that personally.
Well,
I didn't mean it as you said it to me personally. I have heard you say those things.
Right, but you said in the beginning that even when you're going through the unaliving thoughts, you don't talk to me about it because...
Oh, I just don't talk to people, because in my mind, those are the two options. There really is nothing else anybody can do in that situation. Can't get rid of my thoughts. Can't get rid of my pain. Can't give me a new brain. So the two options of people responding to that situation is, oh, that sucks, or what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I didn't mean it as a dig at you or anything. That wasn't...
I took it very personal.
I'm sorry.
Because when we go...
Was it the way I phrased it?
It was.
Okay.
But when we are going through that, we do tell each other that that's what's going on.
Yeah, we do.
We are aware of it. So it made it sound like you don't talk to me.
No, I do. When I'm going through it, I do tell you. If I'm going through it for 3 weeks and every day I'm feeling like I want to unalive myself, I'm not telling you every single day, hey, just so you know, nothing's changed. Yeah. There's no point in that. So.
Right. Well, that's a different conversation altogether as well then. But all right.
I'm sorry about that phrasing.
That's okay. That's why I clarified, because I took it very personal. So back to this, because we're over an hour at this point. Alfred Adler, the guy who created Adlerian psychology, wrote, "We learn in friendship to look with the eyes of another person, to listen with her ears," although it should have said their ears. Let's sort of read that again. Alfred Adler, who is the founder of Adlerian psychology, wrote, "We learn in friendship to look in the eyes of another person, to listen with their ears, and to feel with their heart."
Repeat that one more time, what he says. What does he say?
We learn in friendship.
We learn in friendship.
To look with the eyes of another person.
To look with the eyes of another person. Okay, so see life through their view.
Right.
Okay.
That's compassion.
Compassion.
Right? To listen with their ears or to feel with their heart.
Okay, so it's literally just to remove all of your life experience and try to understand what somebody else is going through.
Right.
Okay.
And that speaks on the work, friendship, community, and love, and the three tasks of Adlerian psychology.
Okay.
Friendship is a big deal. He believes that you should view everyone as a friend, as a valuable person that has meaning, that deserves to exist in this world. And when you do that, it changes your empathy for humanity. It changes the way that you want to be there for people. And if you don't know somebody and you don't know their story and they've never done you dirty, you should have that compassion towards them. And even if they have, because people take slights very personal, like somebody's intentionally digging at them, when most of the time people are just doing what's best for them and trying to make them happy. And when you change your view from they did this to me to realizing that they did it for them and you just happen to be hurt by it, it changes your view on things.
Yeah.
I don't do... okay, I can't say I don't do that, because I do. I absolutely believe that there are people out there who will disregard me for their own wants. And when they disregard me, I'm going to take it personal because I feel disregarded.
Well, I think that it's taken personally because you believe that there was a higher standing in the relationship.
That falls down to trusting the contract or the confidence in the person.
Because I would take it personally too.
Right. I literally was about to be like, I don't do that anymore, but we literally had something happen in the last
24, 48 hours.
Yeah. I was gonna say 2 weeks just to broaden it, but yeah, it actually was in the last 48 hours, but I had something that happened and I was like, fuck them, because I took it very personal. Because that situation, I believe, warranted a personal.
Right.
Because I believe that I cannot like somebody and still be civil towards them. And if somebody doesn't like me and cold shoulders me, okay, we're beefing, we got beef. There's a very different situation for me, because I want to be civil even if I don't like you. Because I want to view the world through your eyes. However, I am very aware that there are scummy people out there who will take advantage of people and use them because they can.
Yeah.
A taker can continue to take and a giver can only give so much. You have to fucking set your boundaries because a taker will not. So that kind of speaks into what happened in the last 48 hours, but I'm not going to get into that.
I felt disrespected by proxy because you're my husband.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that when you're disrespected, I'm disrespected. When I'm disrespected, you are disrespected.
Yeah.
We are not going to have people, I was going to say within our household, but within our life period, who is okay with disrespecting one half of us. You're cool with me, but you're not cool with my husband? Dope. There's the door. I hope that you find somebody else to fill in the spot for friendship because this isn't for me.
Yeah. There's a whole lot more to that conversation, and I really want to get into it, but we're not going to.
Yeah.
We're just move away from that because I'm going to end up
outing.
Yeah. He also wrote, meanings are not determined by situations, but we determine ourselves by the meaning we give to situations.
Okay. Money has value because we dictate that it does.
Right.
So
you are living in 1989 version of you because you believe your trauma dictates your past. Instead of the meaning that you put on your trauma, you were able to live through this so that you can be there for someone who otherwise may not be able to live through what they're going through. Right? You can assign all kinds of different meanings to different things. Somebody did you dirty, you can be like, well, they did that to me, or you can be like, they were just doing what's best for them. And it changes the view and the way you feel about things. Meanings are not determined by situations, but we determine ourselves by the meanings we give situations. Her side, his side, truth. Right? There's that.
Yeah.
I really thought that was a really big thing. I have one more that I want to get into, and then
I have one thing that I added on there if you wanted to read it.
Okay. Adler also believed that all things, problems, and joy come down to interpersonal relationships. The way that we behave, dress, and think all fall under that category.
Okay.
And the prime example of that.
I need you to read that one more time so it's cohesive in my mind.
Adler also believed that all things, problems, and all joys come down to interpersonal relationships. The way that we behave, dress, and think all fall under that category.
Under what category? Interpersonal relationships?
Yep.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Why?
Read the last part of that. The way that we dress, behave, and talk.
The way that we behave, dress, and think all fall under that category.
I would say that my interpersonal relationships can influence that, but my thinking is not dictated by my interpersonal relationships.
It is. I'm definitively saying that it is.
Okay, then I need you to elaborate because that doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 examples.
Okay.
Our relationship is an interpersonal relationship.
Right.
And when you have a really good idea, it changes my thought process.
Okay.
When I have a really good idea, it changes your thought process.
Yeah.
If you go back to the beginning of the podcast, the way that we interact and the way that we talk has become very similar because our thought processes are very uniform now because we have so many discussions. We are influencing each other's thought patterns.
Right, influencing.
That's an interpersonal relationship thing. If you and I did not have an interpersonal relationship or you did not have some sort of respect or trust for me, my opinion of what your thought process is wouldn't matter. And you would not change your thought process based off of our relationship.
Well, right, but it's influence. I determine my thoughts. I determine on whether or not I think that I agree with what's being said.
Absolutely. But if there was no one else in the world,
right,
your thoughts would not be what they are. You would not have meaning on the way that you dress, your split dye hair, your glasses chain. None of that would matter because you're the only person in existence.
And I wouldn't have thought of this shit by myself.
That interpersonal relationship dictates those things.
Well, now I need to pause you because I need to process everything you just said to me. So I can see that because I would not have thought of, if nobody else invented glasses chain and I have to be the person to invent glasses chains. No, I'm focused on other things right now.
Right.
I don't see that as an interpersonal relationship. I don't know who invented glasses chains.
No.
So that person had influence on my life, but I don't view that as.
Okay.
What are you going to say?
It's not about the invention of the glasses chains.
Right. You're saying it's the interpersonal relationships influencing.
Right. So when you put those on, you're like, oh, these might be functional or these might be cute. right?
Mhm.
And if you go, these might be cute, it's not just for you. Other people perceive you and you live your life based off of that. Whether
Okay.
you want to agree with that or not, we all do that to a degree. You can look at every fad that's ever existed in humanity.
Right. Well, I dress for you, so.
So there you go. I like the secretary look. You amped it up with the glasses chain.
Oh, I did the glasses chain because they're functional for me.
Okay. Well, then that's my opinion.
It's just a bonus that you like it.
Right. Okay. So the second example of that I was going to give is the scene kids or goth kids, people who go into cults.
Mm-hmm.
They allow the relationships that they have developed with other people to dictate things about themselves.
Okay.
And the third one is religion, because you are creating an interpersonal relationship with your God and you are trying to adhere to the laws laid down by him to please him.
Damn, fuck, you really just pulled God card on me. That's a really good one. I didn't think about that. That could have been your only example, and I get it. That makes more sense than anything else to me.
If you were a lone being on an island that never met another human being, you would not care if you were naked unless there was ants crawling on your body.
Or the sun.
Or the sun, right? You could just sit in the shade all day.
Comfort, I guess.
But you would never be concerned about your appearance. Your hair would become matted. You would never worry about combing it. You wouldn't know about brushing your teeth or what fluoride is or any of the bullshit.
Oh,
that
you're
comes
right. Like
along
just
with
like
all
a
of that.
total feral person.
Right.
Okay, so
because that would become a survival thing. You would be just trying to live. And then this
Right.
speaks on community and friendship. So this goes back into the life task things.
okay. Well, I don't want to lose this. So that speaks more on the fact that we boil down to just being animals.
We are.
We are animals. And okay, so this does all make sense to me now, the interpersonal relationships, because without the influence of other human beings, we wouldn't talk. We would make noises, right? Babies make noises. Children don't learn to speak just by sitting there,
Right.
right? It's other adults, human beings speaking around them, repetitive, and then they start grasping. And then there's hype up. Oh, you just said car. It's the greatest fucking thing ever. We're throwing a party over the fact that this 3-year-old just said car. You're right. I see it. It all makes sense now. Thank you for that.
Okay.
I'm not done. We are.
I knew you weren't. That's all I was waiting.
We're literally just animals.
Right.
Like, because you were doing that whole island scenario, and I was like, you're wrong. I would fucking brush my hair because I don't like my hair being matted on the back of my neck. Like, I went through a 3-month-long depression. I had to shave my head. I had dreadlocks, and I had to shave my head.
Okay.
And so I know the feeling of matted hair, and I would definitely be brushing my hair. But at the beginning of that, you said if you have never met another human being and you are by yourself on this island and had no other human interactions, I don't know what the fuck a comb is.
You wouldn't care.
I don't know what personal hygiene is. I don't know what a bath is. Like, I am just an infant placed on this island. I'm probably raised by another animal, another species. That happens. If I have made it to adulthood as a human being who has never had contact with another human being, I am 100% covered in filth. My hair is a mess. If I have hair, if I have teeth still, they are not looking like this. Like, I don't have glasses. I just can't fucking see, I guess. This is life. Like, there would be no difference between me and a chimpanzee. I could be taught to speak. I could be taught sign language the way a chimpanzee is. That's just, I'm just going down a whole fucking rabbit hole right now. I'm uncomfortable with my existence.
But that also speaks on community.
Right.
And community is necessary for the survival of our species.
Right.
And as we get more comfortable and things become easier for us, because in a society that we can go to the grocery store or have things delivered, we have made new things that become problematic that we get to argue over and like be offended by. When things are no longer trying to kill you, starvation is not a real possibility. You can argue about pronouns or politics or religion, things that really do not fucking change your life in any way, shape, or form. Could you imagine living in a scenario where every day is potential life or death? You could starve to death. You could go without water. An animal could eat you. And then having an argument about politicians or religion or your pronouns. Well, how is this serving our survival?
I just saw a video the other day of people using a pulley system to get water across the street because they were trying to avoid snipers.
There you go. You think those people are arguing about all this dumb shit?
No.
They're trying to survive.
No. There was blood in the street. Like, they are literally just focused on water.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That also comes down to community, though, because warring tribes or conflicting between nations comes down to the communities of those nations and the powerful elites. Whole different discussion. Not getting into that.
No, and this is also something we don't have to get into. I also want to point out all of the people in that video trying to make water happen for survival was men.
Oh, really? Crazy.
It was all men working together, getting this mechanism going and getting water to and from to make sure that people were surviving. Yeah.
Wild how that works. All right. He then goes into the 3 basic life tasks: work, friendship, community, and love. I put that note in here, so I read it. We've covered that quite a bit. This is yours, I think.
Yeah, I only put one in.
Why do we form relationships? Needs. A lot of people will panic grab at relationships without the agreements being laid out because the person is pouring water on whatever closest fire there is. You want to elaborate on that? As I'm trying not to burp and hiccup at the same time. It's very painful.
So... A couple of things. Huh?
That hurt my chest. That was weird. Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I was hiccuping while burping and it got stuck in the chest. It felt like an air bubble. Heart attack. I'm just kidding. That sucked. Would you like me to read? I'm going to read it again.
Okay.
Why do we form relationships? Needs, period. A lot of people will panic grab relationships without the agreements being laid out because the person is pouring water on whatever closest fire there is.
Attention deficit, right? Say someone hasn't been in a good relationship for the last 4 years and this person is super toxic. They've only ever been with toxic people. And now somebody else outside that relationship has started giving them attention. And this person is a very well-known, so say it's a friend group, right? And this is an acquaintance of a friend of her boyfriend. And this dude witnessed an argument between the two of them at a friend gathering. So he saw a chink in the armor, he saw it, and he took it. First red flag. He knows this person's in a relationship and he's reached out. And now he is known for doing this. He reaches out to women. He's a womanizer, as some people use that terminology. He's a womanizer. This woman is aware of that because people have talked about it within the friend group. She has heard her boyfriend talk about it, but because he is giving her attention in the moment that her man isn't giving her, she's letting him in.
Okay, I'm going to pause you.
Okay.
Is he a womanizer or is he damaged? And other people are judging him for the way that he's handling his damage.
He is probably I believe that people hurt people because it boils down to damage. And I believe the majority of the time it's because they were failed by their parents.
Okay. So he...
they've given the label of womanizer.
Okay.
The negativity bias.
Right. So he is somebody that is not caring enough for himself, let alone for other people.
Right.
And on a base level, he is only worried about his own needs and desires, attention, whatever.
Right.
This falls into we are placing blame, shame, judgment, contempt, criticism on him instead of actually understanding the way that he's viewing the world through his own eyes.
Right.
And this comes down to he did them dirty instead of going, he did what was best for him. So this is how we apply the situation. Is it good for him? Probably not.
Right.
However, in his opinion, this is the best he can get. So this is what he's doing.
Right.
This is not a judgment on a good or a bad thing. This is just a shift of perspective to realize that even though he might be a womanizer, he is a broken, flawed individual and he's doing...
He's hurting.
what he thinks he needs to do.
To feel better.
She, taking the attention and going to doing, is doing the exact same thing.
He's doing, yeah.
Okay.
And I view that very childlike because children just want to feel better after they get hurt. That's why they run to their mom or they run to their dad. Help me feel better. There is no, okay, I just hurt myself. Let me check my body real quick. What hurts? And then once say it's pinpointed and it doesn't matter what hurts. You pinpoint what hurts. And now the next step is, okay, can I move? There's a whole process of checking yourself to make sure you're okay. You're not just jumping up and running to the hospital. And I don't remember where I was going with that.
Okay. Then I'm going to interject because I have to cut that pause
Yeah,
out.
cut that out. No, well, cut all of that out. Everything that I was saying, because it
No,
doesn't go anywhere.
It's going to, though, because I'm going to piggyback off of that.
Okay.
So I can't cut it. I'm going to cut the long ass pause.
Mm-hmm.
That affirmation and the praise is also discussed heavily in Adlerian psychology, especially when it comes to children. And I'm going to take the hurt thing because there are kids out there who get hurt, realize that they're not broken, bleeding, or extremely damaged, and will just go about playing. And there are kids out there who will fall and run to mom or dad and scream and cry because they need to be affirmed that they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're fine. You're good. Go play. Daddy loves you. Mommy loves you, whatever. There are two different mindsets in that. And the people who constantly need the affirmations from their parents are the people who grow up to be very dependent on other people. If you are somebody that needs praise constantly, you will always seek out praise from other people and you will never be able to self-soothe and give yourself what you need. That is slavery, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Because your happiness is going to be dependent on what other people are willing to give you.
Right.
And this ties back into what you were saying about him and her.
Right.
They are living that because they need the affirmations and the positive praise and the attention from other people instead of learning self. Okay.
The more that I want, the thought that triggered that, to add more onto that. So she's accepting the tension from elsewhere because she is currently unhappy in her relationship. This is all hypothetical. Say she is a stay-at-home. He is a hardworking blue-collar man. He works 14-hour days, and he gets Saturdays and Wednesdays off. Her biggest complaint within their relationship is that he works too much. And we all know that that is a cover-up phrase underneath that. She misses him. There might be a lack of quality time going on. She could feel as if she's not a priority. Whatever it is, she's masking it with, you work too much. And because that's her issue and she's now getting attention elsewhere, let's call this man Chuck. He is the well-known womanizer. He lives with his dad. He works a part-time job at a vape shop.
You're really scraping that bottom of that bucket there, aren't you?
I am. I really am. People do this. This is a very extreme situation, but he lives at home with his dad. He works a part-time job at a vape shop. And let's say that he sells dope on the side. Right? And he has not had any long-term relationships. He is known for having 6 months run at things, and that's it. And he has a temper. These are very well-known things about him. But because he's giving Becky attention in the moment, she blows up her relationship. And now she's going to go live with Chuck. But now she can't be that stay-at-home person anymore because he's got a part-time job at a vape shop, and then he sells dope on the side. But he uses all of that to soup up his cars. His one car. He lives at his dad's house still, but he blows all of his money on stupid shit like necklaces and video games, and it's fast money. He's going to earn it back fast, so he's going to spend it fast. And he's not worried about you. He's worried about getting his needs met.
So is she.
And so is she, which is why she blew up her relationship. He was putting water on the fire closest or the one that needed immediate attention. And because that happened, she panicked, grabbed out a relationship, and left what she had because this is new and shiny and it's making me feel good. That's what I meant by that.
Because she was seeking praise and positive affirmations from an outside source,
right.
Which means she wasn't happy with her.
Right.
If she was happy with her and missed her husband or whoever she was with, the blue collar man, and was able to articulate that and was able to somehow fill her love meter back up from having a conversation with him, having a conversation, not making him positive affirm and give her that attention, her relationship would have been very different because she would have been able to self-soothe and take care of what she needed to take care of and realize that life shit happens.
Right.
That's a very, very specific thing. And I look for that now because you're not happy. You are not happy. And if you're happy with you and you feel good about you and you don't need other people to fill that void in you, you're going to live a very different life because you're not relying on the validation of others to fill your needs.
Right.
Yep. You wrote an example down. Can we read that real quick?
I did, yeah.
And then we got to wrap this up because I have to pee like a Russian racehorse.
Okay, me too.
Example, you're home alone. You're sitting in your living room. It's 11 p.m. And all I can think of is you smoking bong in your underwear.
We can make that happen. Do you want to redo the patio?
Fuck me. But you're tired. Work has been a lot. You're stressed out about everything, and you can't stop overthinking about what that person said. Your body feels like cement. You doze off and wake up the next morning with the worst pain in your neck. Replicate turtle incident. That's funny.
Yeah.
And you say to yourself, never again, even though it was convenient to fall asleep on the couch, and it's certainly a surface for that, doesn't mean that it's meant for that. That was your example. Do you have
Right.
anything
Oh,
to
so
add
you're
to it,
just
or is
looking
that
at.
it? Yeah.
Oh, well, did it make sense to you?
I mean, yeah, but this is your thoughts, not
Okay.
mine. So
So,
do I need to read it again?
yeah, read through it one more time. And when you read the turtle, you got to do the thing.
You're home alone. You're sitting in your living room. It's 11 p.m. You think to yourself, it's late. I should get to bed, but you're not tired. I'm sorry, but you're tired. Work has been a lot. You're stressed about everything, and you can't stop overthinking about the thing that person said. Your body feels like cement. You doze off and wake up the next morning with the worst pain in your neck. Replicate turtle incident. And you say to yourself, never again, even though it was convenient to fall asleep on the couch, and it's certainly a surface for that, doesn't mean that it's meant for that.
Just because there are people within your vicinity and they are capable of providing a single need within that moment does not mean that you should be using them. It's convenient in the moment. It might feel good in that moment because you're fucking going through it and your body is exhausted and you're mentally exhausted and this person is just here. Don't do it. Because in the morning when your neck hurts, it's going to be 3 weeks until that pinched nerve goes back to the way it should be. Do not take short-term gratification for long-term issues. Yeah.
Learn to fill yourself up and don't expect others to do it for you.
Yeah. Get off the couch, get yourself to bed, get under the covers, and sleep where you know where you're going to get rested.
I'm curious if all of this Adlerian psychology would have the effect on me that it's having if I hadn't read choice theory first.
I don't think it would have.
Okay, why?
Because I think that there are new pathways to be connected to the dots that you're seeing now that you wouldn't have had before. It would have just been from A to D versus A, B, C, D.
Well, in the years that we've known each other, I have always felt the way that I feel about all this.
Right.
It's never been explained to me. I didn't know what choice theory was. I certainly didn't know what Adlerian psychology was, but all of this has been my thought process.
Right.
I'm definitely getting new golden nuggets. But the belief that your life is your own and no one is coming to save you has always been my standpoint. Nobody fucking owes you anything in this world.
Right. And you're not deserving of anything.
No, you're not. If you want something, you have to go get it. You can't expect anything to ever be handed to you. That's fucking slavery.
Yeah.
You're going to eat when I allow you to eat, boy. Like, come the fuck on with that. No, I'm going to go earn my living. Like,
you get water when you complete what I asked you to do.
right.
Yeah.
Same thing with your relationship. If you want your relationship to thrive, you have to take the accountability for what you're capable of doing and fucking do it. It comes down to a choice.
Right.
So reading choice theory and understanding it on a therapy level, and then reading Adlerian psychology and understanding it on a psychology level is cementing my belief system. Because before it was just a belief. Now it's my truth because I've done it. So I don't know. Are we done?
We can wrap this up, yeah.
So we're going to wrap this up. This ended up being way longer than I expected it to be. I hope you guys got some value from it. And as always, guys, a new one. We have a new one. Remember that life is a choice.
So choose to be better.
That came from one of our Discord guys. Oh,
A Discordian.
We're not done. We have to hold the pee for a minute longer.
Fuck.
Sorry.
Oh, urethra, we can do this.
Yep. Stay strong, bladder. Stay strong.
I feel like I'm pinching the end of a bag that's leaking.
From someone in Discord said, I have nowhere else to be giddy about this, but a friend of mine introduced us to Be Better. I started watching, enjoyed it, and showed it to my husband. Our relationship has completely changed. He plans date nights, is more sweet, thoughtful, and romantic. He said it's all from seeing how Peaches gets all happy and blushy when Chris does it and wanted to do that to me. This man texts me and goes, I miss you. I've got something planned for tonight. Can you pick up the front room, pamper yourself, and when I get there, be ready to go. You don't have to worry about anything tonight. Next paragraph said, we struggled after I gave birth last August to connect, and the podcast has been just what we needed. Thank you, To Be Better, Chris and Peaches.
That's amazing.
I want to break this down.
Right now?
I'll be quick.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I will be quick. He plans date nights, is more sweet, thoughtful, and romantic. He said it's all from seeing how Peaches gets all happy and blushy when Chris does it and wanted to do that to me. In the beginning of your relationship, you were Peaches. You would get blushy. You would get flustered. You would be grateful.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you take that for granted.
You would get tongue-tied.
And then he stops trying to do those things because it no longer has that effect. I love this message. I love that things are changing and you guys are doing your thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can always be Peach. You don't have to become ungrateful. You don't have to stop glowing when your person compliments you. You don't have to let the negative self-talk win. At some point in your relationship, this is what your relationship had. Everyone's fucking had this at one point. You made the decision to let it slip.
Mm-hmm.
That is a choice. Don't take it for granted. If somebody's paying you a compliment and you love them, fucking be giddy. I don't care if you're depressed, fake it. Let them know that they fucking matter to you and that you appreciate the compliments, that you appreciate them going above and beyond because they don't have to do that. They want to. And when you no longer reciprocate the excitement or match the energy of them trying to do that, eventually they are going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
People will always match what you put in.
Right.
And if you're putting in negativity and shittiness, they are going to match that. And if you don't have it in you to match what they're trying to do, and that goes on for so long, it's going to fall apart.
I'm going to say at some point they will begin to match it. When you start being shitty, they're not going to match that energy right away. They're
Right.
going to think that you're off and that there's something going on, and they're going to want to make you feel better, and they're going to go out of their way, maybe even be a little extra about it, be a little extra funny, be a little extra goofy. And then when they recognize that that too is being shut down, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Clearly I'm the problem. If it's me, if I try to be goofy and they get pissed about it, I'm clearly the problem. Then they will start matching your energy.
Yep. It's important to recognize those things. I'm not taking away from what the message said in our Discord. I love the message. I love that you guys have rekindled that. But there are people right now who have not rekindled that, who don't understand that they are responsible for the fucking outcome of their life. And if he stopped doing these things, maybe it wasn't reciprocated. Maybe he was going through a slump and just let that habit of doing those things go.
Mm-hmm.
If our interactions can show people that you can have this again, and they would like, I want to make her feel like he makes her feel, you did that at one point.
Mm-hmm.
You guys had this at one point, or you wouldn't have gotten married.
Mm-hmm.
You need to figure out what it is that is going to catalyst you back into that. So that was, I read that and immediately thought it was like, I got to fucking respond to this. And I was like, it's going to come better from verbal than from a message, because if I would have said that in a message, it would have been very cold.
Mm-hmm.
There's warmth behind this. I'm not saying fuck you for letting that go. I'm saying that other people need to hear this. So thank you, Discord person. You know who you are.
Thank you for sharing that.
Love that your life is going good again.
It's dope.
I'm going to insert the Patreon plug and then it's going to end. So bye guys.
Bye.